Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. So in this video we are going to be reviewing Scooby Doo The Mystery Begins, which is a completely rebooted live action third movie from the Scooby Doo franchise that looks back at how the gang first met up and how they solved their first ever case. Now, like I said, this is a completely rebooted live action movie with a completely new cast. Now, whilst that is pretty annoying because the cast of the live action first two movies were pretty awesome, it is surprisingly decent and is actually full of a lot of charm. Now, the CGI moments are pretty awful and it has got a lot of teen-based content, but if you can look past all of that, it is surprisingly an enjoyable Scooby Doo movie, which I'm going to be breaking down for you in this movie review. So from a storyline point of view, like I said a second ago, this movie introduces us to how the gang first met and how they solved their first ever case. So it introduces us to the characters in a pretty hilarious way. So first up we have Shaggy, who is a bit of a geeky outcast. We then have Fred, who is a bit of a popular quarterback type douchey character. We then have Daphne, who is a rich drama student. We have Velma, who is a bit of a science nerd. And then we have Scooby, who is a bit of an unwanted dog who's up for adoption. Now a fight ensues on the school bus, which leads to all five of these characters going in for detention in the school, where they find out that three ghosts are haunting the school and wanting to close it down. Now they all find out that they're all quite into mystery solving, so they decide to work together as a team to try and work out what's happening with these three ghosts. Now I won't say any more than that, but what I did like is right at the end of this movie, it really nicely leads into the first ever episode of the Scooby Doo Where Are You cartoon, which leads into that mystery. So I thought it was really nice how they connected this movie to the cartoon series as well. So from a storyline point of view, this movie is actually pretty decent. Now as far as the cast and characters are concerned, it's a bit of a mixed one here because I didn't want to like these characters because I was so obsessed with the original cast from the classic two live action movies. I thought that casting was absolutely perfect, and then when I heard that this reboot is going to have a brand new cast associated with it, I thought, okay, I'm not going to like any of these characters and any of these cast members. But surprisingly, the majority of them are actually pretty decent. So let's go through them one by one. So first up, we have Nick Palatas, who brilliantly plays the role of Shaggy Rogers. He really does make the role his own, and he really does bring the cartoon aspects of this character to life. Obviously, Matthew Lillard equally does a brilliant job as the Shaggy Rogers character, but I have to say, Nick Palatas does a really, really good job in terms of bringing the younger side of this character to life. We then have Robbie Amell, who shows that the Fred character does have a bit of a douchey origin in terms of being a popular jock quarterback type character that you don't really want to like, and is very different to where he turns out to be as the Fred leader character of the Mystery Inc. Incorporated team. We then have Velma Dinky, who is true to her character in the future in terms of being the really inquisitive expert that's able to kind of do all mystery solving. So she's very true to where her character leads to. I'd say Kate Melton is probably the weakest character as part of this cast ensemble. It's definitely overshadowed, A, by the other cast members, and B, by Sarah Michelle Gellar's brilliant performance as the Daphne character. So whilst Kate Melton is watchable, I wouldn't say she's as good as her other counterpart was. And Scooby Doo, whilst he looks really bad from a CGI perspective, he's still as cute as he always has been. I think it's also really nice that they didn't necessarily give away who the main villain is, and there are a couple of options that you are kind of guessing between. So really nice that they've kind of put the mystery solving in there, a lot of red herrings, as well as you're kind of trying to work out who the real villain is. So I thought that was really, really clever. So from a casting characters point of view, this movie is actually pretty decent. So from a visuals point of view, like I said before, the CGI looks absolutely horrendous in this movie. I mean, the first two live action movies, the CGI wasn't that great, but this movie, the CGI is really, really bad. But like I said before, if you're able to look past that, then it's alright. And the human-based scenes are actually pretty decent. Like I said before as well, it is predominantly based in a high school, so it does have a very teen aspect to the film. So it's a bit different to necessarily what you've expected to see, A, in the other live action remake movies as well as the cartoon series. But again, if you're able to look past that, then it is pretty decent. So from a visuals point of view, I'd say not the best, but it is definitely watchable as well. So from a comparisons point of view, this movie unfortunately isn't as good as the other live action movies were. Those were absolutely brilliant in terms of casting, storyline, plots, twists and turns, all of that sort of stuff. Now this movie isn't necessarily as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought when I watched it, this is going to be the worst adaptation of Scooby Doo ever, but it's not that bad. Like I said, some of the casting is actually pretty decent, and the mystery does have enough intrigue in there to kind of keep you guessing from start to finish. So it does feel true to what Scooby Doo is all about. Now as far as the origins are concerned, very different to what we've seen in Scoob and the other live action movie, Daphne and Velma, so you can choose whichever one you would like to have. So overall, I'd say Scooby Doo Mystery Begins wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. The other live action remake movies obviously definitely outshine it, but it is watchable if you're a big Scooby Doo fan, and if you want to see everything from this franchise, then it definitely is worth watching. When it first ever aired, it actually performed really, really well, a lot better than Star Wars Clone Wars as well. So from that point of view, it was really successful. And like I said before, the casting of this movie and their performances were pretty decent as well. So for all of those reasons, I'm going to give Scooby Doo The Mystery Begins a solid 5.5 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.